Hi, my name is Lynnette Abad, and you are watching Property Finder Talks, where I speak to leaders in the real estate industry here in the UAE. Are you a real estate professional and thinking of advancing your career, but you're not quite sure what resources you have available to you? Or perhaps you're just curious of what's available in the education sector within the real estate industry? If so, I think you're really going to enjoy this episode of Property Finder Talks, where I speak to Dr. Michael Waters, who's Director of Real Estate Studies at Heriot-Watt University in Dubai. Dr. Waters, thank you so much for hosting Property Finder Talks here at Heriot-Watt University. Can you tell us a little bit about a program? Go more into detail.
Yeah, okay. So our programs are built on three main parts of the real estate industry, from the occupier to the investor to the developer. So students learn about the interrelationship across those three main sectors, from valuation to economics to development feasibility. As I said, we've had the programs in place since 2009, and we're slowly looking to the future about what we can start educating the local market on.
Is this the only real estate program here in the UAE?
In terms of RACS accredited, so the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, it's the only face-to-face offering in the UAE. So that allows students to, whilst working in Dubai, also gain an internationally recognised qualification that they can open up a global property career.
You know, having come from the States, real estate studies is very common in majority of all of universities. Why do you think it hasn't really caught on here?
I think it's just the phase of the education system here. So we're still seeing engineering, business leading the options, but that's, having been here 10 years, that's changing, and people are starting to see the value of doing more specialist courses like the real estate program.
Yes, and especially here in Dubai, the real estate market is maturing, and we're seeing many signs of that. Yep. So let's say, for example, I'm a CEO of a real estate company. How can I utilize this program to diversify my business?
Okay, so in terms of diversity, obviously it depends upon what that core business is. But if we take a good example that's seen Dubai well across the last 10 years, property management is always a good, stable part of the business. So a student can opt to be asset managers. So they're going to be working alongside the FM departments, the corporate real estate teams, and sort of adding value to the existing building stock that we have. So we'll see that as a wave of prosperity, I think, in this market. Of course, we've also got the valuation and the investment side of the offering as well, which allows people to make the right decisions when they acquire or advise on acquiring assets. And then, of course, we've got the investment vehicles. So REITs have become more popular since we started the program. So we've had students in place now leading some of those top REITs in the marketplace as well.
Oh, very interesting.
Yep.
So tell me, what's the persona of your typical student?
Okay, so it ranges quite broad. So if I can put them into some categories. So because of our classes, we have classes at the weekend and evenings. It naturally allows people who are working to take study on alongside the job. So traditionally, that's always been our largest share. And now we're starting to see students from overseas coming to Dubai and choosing to come to study property in the UAE, which is a fantastic offering for them.
And are you seeing a combination of expats, locals?
Yeah, largely I would say the Dubai real estate student population, as I see it, is kind of very much the same as what we see when we walk down the street. So we have a large Western European population, we have Australian, South African, Asian, as well as local Emiratis. So we get a broad diversity across the student population.
And what are the hot topics in class with your students?
Okay, so as I said, we traditionally, some of the exciting things that we've seen from the classroom to the marketplace have been real estate investment trusts. Now we're discussing things to do with valuation and valuation modelling, which is again going to be the future of where the industry is going. We're also starting to look at the merging of asset classes. So no longer should we be looking at offices as offices, retail and hotels. There's a merging of offerings there. So Airbnb, WeWork, they're shaking that market up, and students are obviously starting to think about how that might affect the forward pace of Dubai and other global markets.
Yes, absolutely. You said something very interesting. Let's talk about valuation models. Where do you see this today?
Okay.
Where do you see it maybe 5 years from now here in Dubai?
Okay, so the big offering at the moment with valuation is now we're at a position where data has become more accessible and we've got good data providers. We're likely to see a journey of automated valuation come into the marketplace, and of course that's linking the two worlds of technology and real estate. So students who study the traditional forms of valuation will be putting themselves in a good position to take those opportunities forward in the next 5 or 10 years. And we will be in a world where 90% of valuations will be done with some simulation from computers, I'm sure.
It's very interesting, just like in the West.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
What other advances in technology have you seen that has helped the real estate industry and courses in your class?
Okay, so another interesting technological wave is obviously the smart building concept. So occupiers of space are able to capture data and see how efficiently they're using space, their space requirements are better, their feedback on a lot of the consumables is better, and we'll be in a world where BIM is used to source defects in the building that can be easily identified, spotted and managed out. So we're starting to see humans interacting with technology a lot more, from asset management to valuation.
In your class, do you find many real estate agents taking it?
Yeah, we do have a portion of agents. Broadly speaking, up to about 20% of the classroom are real estate agents looking to use that market knowledge that they've gained as an agent to then advise clients, so that the natural progression is for them to then work on the advisory side or the strategic consultancy, because at the end of the day they've captured a lot of market knowledge, and with the techniques and skills they learn on the program, the likes of Knight Frank, Savills, JLL, you can see the opportunities there for them.
And that's one way that they can advance their career if they're,
exactly.
For example, real estate agent to advisory.
Exactly.
Are there any other examples that you can give?
Of the agencies themselves, or the agents
Not
themselves?
Agents, just any other type of real estate professionals that have come in, started the program under one capacity, and then has left in another.
I mean, as I said at the start, broadly, we've seen at the moment senior managers just taking their knowledge forward, so that the idea of they're in a position to make a difference with the knowledge that they receive on the program. So we've seen those kind of candidates take some of the information from our program and actually put it on the ground. We're starting to see students think about that technology offering. So we've got a few students interested in the agency, how agency is going to change through technology, and I'm sure competition will take place there. So certainly there's some innovations going on within the classroom, and we'll be that's the acid test of success, really. If you do our program and you innovate and you implement that, they're good graduates.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah. We did a Property Finder Talks with Unbox, which is a prop tech incubator here. And we're starting to see a lot of prop tech initiatives, startups, and it's very interesting what's being done in this space. Do you see any other trends within the next 5 years that you think will be prominent in real estate that we don't have existing today? Okay,
so as you say, prop tech is on our radar. So we're likely to see an advancing of that, particularly in Dubai, where we like innovation and we like to be the leaders of these innovations. So blockchain and the technology behind blockchain is likely to affect, or potentially could affect, the way in which we trade assets and we buy assets, and we have all of that within that framework. That will be an interesting play in the next sort of 10 years. So these are things that are going to happen within the next 10 years, I would have thought.
Yes, and you know, with everything that's going on, it just fascinates me that there's only one university here in the UAE that focuses on real estate studies. Because coming from the US, just to be a real estate agent, you have to take minimum 6-month course full-time just to get your license. And then if you want to advance and go into different sectors within the industry, you then have to further your education. So yeah, I find it very interesting that you guys have capitalized on that and are the forward-thinking pioneers on it. I'm going to ask you the Property Finder Talks signature question. If you had unlimited resources, what would you do? What would you accomplish here in the Dubai real estate market?
Okay, good question. So I think based on some of the discussion that we've had, I'd probably be looking to innovate around the technology and linking and forming some hybrid model with real estate and technology working closely. I'd be looking at how the technology is going to disrupt certain sectors and also cause growth in others. And I'd be looking to allocate money and funds within those new markets or those new asset classes.
That's a very interesting answer. I love how you say disrupt some while others grow.
Yep.
So obviously you have an idea, which
Yep.
obviously you're not talking about, which is fine.
Yep, yep.
But that's a very good question or answer.
That's certainly
Thank
what's going to happen, I think, in global markets.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll have to talk after the video.
Okay.
If you have any questions, please comment on Twitter and don't forget to hashtag PF Talks. Stay tuned for the next episode of Property Finder Talks, where we go through the ins and outs of the real estate industry here in the UAE.